Does anybody know who came up with the idea for this flag? Benjamin Franklin, exactly right. Anybody know the time frame as far as when they came up with this idea? That's a little late. It was during the either you call it the French Indian Wars or you call it the 7-Year War. He came up with it. Now he came up with this strategy, and being kind of like a Christian guy, and like snakes are bad, snakes. Why, pray tell, did Benjamin Franklin pick a snake as a symbol for his country? Anybody know? Okay, well, there's a really good reason. I mean, as far as does anybody know did you know America was a penal colony? Like, England would put their convicts on boats and ship them over to the United States, just like they did to Australia and New Zealand. We're dumping you away. So that didn't go over very good for people who came over here as colonists and stuff like that. They weren't very happy about that. But one thing that really scared the English were the snakes. They hated snakes, and they hated the timber rattler, and this is what is depicted here in this picture. Before Benjamin Franklin actually came up with this flag, he had an idea that he was so tired of these boats coming over with these convicts. Every time a boat with convicts came over, they wanted to load it up with snakes and send it back to England. So that's his first joke about it. And then he came up with this idea as far as this segmented stake, and it's also you kind of if you really have to squint at it, but you kind of notice the contours of it kind of represents the coastline of the United States, and then New England at the head, and southernmost colony there is at the tail, and so it kind of forms it. And also there was a superstition, it's kind of like a wives' tale, that a snake that was segmented, if you joined it back together, would come back to life. So the reason he came up with this flag is that during the 1754, when the French and Indian Wars were going on, it was kind of up and down as far as with the French and stuff like that. As far as what would happen to the colonies, and they were fighting over the United States as a colony. So if the French would have won, we'd be speaking French. They wanted to unify colonies as a single entity. Now, and then that was subsequently adopted by Revere. Paul Revere actually had it in his newspaper. Actually incorporated this as far as a snake fighting a dragon, which represented England. So I wanted to say a quote from Benjamin Franklin as far as why he thought a snake was a good representation. And also, I think if you listen to what he was saying about why he thought it was important for as a representation of the colonists, I think you would maybe this is kind of why the Tea Party has adopted it as a symbol. All right, so I recollected that her eye excelled in brightness, that of any other animal, that she has no eyelids. She may therefore be esteemed an emblem of vigilance. She never begins an attack, nor, when once engaged, ever surrenders. She is therefore an emblem of magnanimity and true courage. As if anxious to prevent all pretenses of quarreling with her, the weapons with which nature has furnished her, she conceals in the roof of her mouth, so that to those who are unacquainted with her, she appears to be most defenseless animal. And even when those weapons are extended for her defense, they appear weak and contemptible, but her wounds, however small, are decisive and fatal. Conscious of this, she never wounds till she gives generous given notice, even to her enemy, and caution him against the danger of treading on her. Was I wrong, sir, in thinking this was a strong picture of the temper and conduct of America? So